Westbound has a wide array of weapons, each with their own unique history in real life. In this video, I'm going to be covering all of the guns in Westbound and their real-life origins. Inspiration for this series was taken from Humoville's TF2 Item Origin series. I will leave a link to that series in the description. The Colt 45 is based off a Colt's single-action army. Being the most recognizable gun of the Old West, the weapon has gotten the nickname of the Peacemaker. The Peacemaker mainly became popular due to its widespread usage among civilians, outlaws, lawmen, and being adopted by the military. Being a single-action revolver, the user would have to manually move back the hammer in order to rotate the cylinder. Empty rounds are ejected by opening a notch on the side of the cylinder and using the ejector rod. Peacemakers are still manufactured today, albeit with added safety precautions to ensure the user doesn't misfire the weapon. The Schofield Revolver is based off of a Smith & Wesson Model 3. The Schofield fires in single action, but unlike the Colt 45, it uses a break action mechanism. By using a latch located near the barrel, the user could load all rounds by opening up the cylinder. Although not as popular as the Colt 45, it still had its widespread usage among civilians, outlaws, and was even adopted by some branches of the army. The Schofield hasn't been reproduced by Smith & Wesson for some time, but modern replicas are still up for sale. In-game, the Schofield has a much faster reload time when compared to the Colt 45, which is accurate since opening the revolver would eject all cartridges whether they were loaded or not. The Volcanic Pistol is a lever-action sidearm that was originally developed by the original founders of Smith & Wesson in the 1850s. It wasn't much of a commercial success due to it having frequent maintenance issues and the rocket ball ammunition being very weak. The Volcanic Pistol was operated by loading ammo into a tubular magazine located under the barrel. The Volcanic Repeating Arms Company was eventually rebranded into the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. With that, the Volcanic Pistol's mechanism was carried over to the Henry Rifle. By Westbound's time setting, the Volcanic Pistol would have been considered a relic, much due to its large redundancy. The LeMat Revolver is a French cap and ball pistol that was primarily used by the Confederacy during the American Civil War. It was operated by loading powder, a paper cartridge, then ammo into the empty chamber. The user would then also have to place percussion caps on tiny grooves in the cylinder. The LeMat Revolver also has an underbarrel that's capable of firing off a grape shot round, basically making it a pocket shotgun. In-game, the LeMat Revolver is modeled with the underbarrel, however, it's not usable. The Mauser Pistol is based off of a Mauser C96, a German semi-automatic pistol. It's one of two semi-automatic pistols to be present in the game. The gun uses an internal box magazine, with the user having to use clips of ammo in order to load the weapon. Versions of the Mauser were exported to the United States from Germany, but it mainly got the spotlight by various countries in Europe. The Colt Navy is a Colt 1851 Navy revolver. It's a cap and ball pistol that was primarily used during the Civil War. Being designed somewhere between 1847 and 1850, the revolver was meant to be a successor to the 1848 Colt Dragoon revolver. After the Civil War, metallic cartridge conversions were made for the Navy revolver, but it was soon rendered obsolete by the single-action army. By 1894, the gun would have been considered obsolete, but it is possible the Westbound version is a conversion. The Bergmann No.3 is a Bergmann 1896 semi-automatic pistol that is also of German origin, much like the Mauser. The Bergmann was produced at the same time as the Mauser, but it didn't get as much success. The gun used an internal box magazine that could hold up to 5 rounds. Technically, the Bergmann didn't reach the market until 1896, but prototype versions were made in 1884, which seems to line up with Westbound setting. The double-action revolver is a Colt Model 1892. Compared to single-action revolvers, a double-action revolver removes the need for the user to manually rotate the cylinder. Instead, they can hold down the trigger in order to switch to the next chamber. The revolver uses a swing-out cylinder instead of the cylinder used in the Colt 45. The Colt Lightning is also a double-action revolver, but this time it's the Colt Model 1877. This was the first ever double-action revolver that Colt ever produced for the market. While it was somewhat of a commercial success, the weapon's mechanism was very prone to damage. It didn't help that repairing the mechanism was also a painful task. The Joalland Pistol is a single-shot French needle-fire pistol. The The gun used paper cartridges and it was operated by pulling the bolt to the right and pushing it forward to chamber the round. There's not much documented history about this gun, and the only info I could really find was on auction sites. It's pretty unclear what Westbound's Remington revolver is based off of, but it would make most sense for it to be based off of Model 1875, since this was the first model that accepted metallic cartridges. The Remington revolver had a removable cylinder, but it shared many similarities with the Colt 45. The Remington actually competed with the Colt 45 in the market, but it ultimately lost in the end. Although the Colt 45 succeeded way more than the Remington, there was still some civilian usage. The Henry Rifle is a lever-action rifle that was developed by the New Haven Arms Company. I mentioned earlier that the Volcanic Pistol became the basis for the Henry Rifle. However, unlike the Volcanic Pistol, the Henry Rifle saw more widespread usage because of its high rate of fire and the added benefit of it accepting metallic cartridges. It's not clear what model of the Winchester Rifle is based off of, but the Model 1873 was one of the most popular, so I am going to run with that. Following the end of the Civil War, the previously established Volcanic Repeating Arms Company was rebranded into the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. In 1866, the company took the design of the Henry Rifle and upgraded to the Winchester Model 1866. The 1894 model of the Winchester Rifle was the first version to emit smokeless powder and accept 30-30 smokeless powder rounds. The Model 1894 is one of the most popular used versions of the Winchester Rifle. Most of its success can be attributed towards its use in sporting and hunting, giving it the nickname of the Deer Rifle. The Mosin seems to be based off of a model 1891 version of the Mosin-Nagant. The Mosin is a Russian bolt-action rifle that was first produced in 1891. The rifle used a push-feed system much similar to the Carcano rifle. The Buffalo rifle seems to be a Sharps rifle model 1874 with a mounted scope. Buffalo rifles were single-shot rifles that had large calibers that could be used to take down large game. The Buffalo rifle in Westbound is a falling block action rifle. During the reload animation, the player will use a lever to open the breech and insert a new cartridge. This would also discard any empty cartridges as well. The Mondragón Rifle is a Mondragón Model 1908 and serves as Mexico's first semi-automatic rifle. The rifle itself had two firing modes, one being semi-automatic and another allowing it to act as a bolt-action rifle. The bolt also had several pairs of locking lugs in place, which was considered an unusual design at the time. The rifle saw a lot of usage during the Mexican Revolution and by Germany in World War I. Although the semi-automatic variant of the rifle wasn't developed until 1908, an 1894 version of the Mondragón does exist. The double barrel and sawed-off shotguns are both based off of a Colt Model 1878 double barrel shotgun. DB shotguns have two parallel barrels, with two separate triggers controlling when they fire. The in-game stats for both shotguns are also pretty accurate to real life. A longer barrel allows for more accurate shots, while a soft barrel, while more concealable, will make each shot more inaccurate. The pump-action shotgun is based off of a Winchester Model 1897. The model was created to improve on Winchester's 1893 model. It features smokeless powder as well as a bunch of other improvements to the firing mechanism. The pump-action shotgun would later be used in trench warfare during World War I. It eventually became outlawed by Germany due to its ability to slam fire, allowing the shotgun to fire off shells rapidly.